Twice a week, Van Lathan and Rachel Lindsay dissect the biggest topics in Black culture, politics, and sports on their show, Higher Learning. They discuss the most important and timely conversations while also frequently inviting guests on the podcast and occasionally debating each other. Check out Higher Learning on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.
I can tell that Brandon definitely knows what he's doing. Clearly has to get some rust off, but it's like the same thing with me in basketball.
Skateboarding by myself, like, no problem. No one to look at. Michelle hops in the room, my legs were like, yo, I don't know how to work anymore. And so couldn't even make it up a ramp, couldn't even get down 3 stairs. Don't know what I'm doing. And it's just like, yo, I'm embarrassing the out of myself.
Welcome to Bachelor Party. It's Hometowns. I'm Juliet Litman. I'm here with Callie Curry. Hi, Callie.
Hello.
This is just not what I was expecting from any of these families. I just got a lot that I just didn't see coming.
Well, we were wrong. We thought Nate's stepdad was Joe's actual dad.
Yeah, so wrong on that one.
They look alike.
Kind of. Joe does not look like his father or mother. It's just.
Oh, I think he looks like his mom.
You do? Huh.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go back and look a little bit, I guess. This was a pretty good episode. I thought there was like also a lot of good dates, a lot of good looks from Michelle. I enjoyed it. We are gonna do some superlatives. We're gonna just, go through some of the biggest surprises, biggest shocks, different things that happened, etc. I just want to say you've been Team Rodney for a really long time. Goodbye, Rodney. We'll miss you.
We're starting the episode with goodbye, Rodney.
Yeah, why not?
Spoiler alert.
Sorry, if you're listening to this, I assume you've watched the episode. And like you're gonna kind of go out of order because we're gonna do superlatives. But I just wondering how you feel. You've loved him since the beginning.
I mean, come on. Even in this episode, like he's just such a good dude.
His mom being worried that people only like him for his like good nature and his humor, I thought was really sweet. It was such a mom thing. It was adorable.
I thought him and his mom were sweet and like her being nervous about him getting heartbroken. He just seems so genuine. Also, out of all of the guys, the things that he said for his reasons for liking Michelle were the best reasons.
Like what?
He just like, everyone else is just like, yeah, we just connect and she's great and I like her. He was like, I love that she's kind and nice and she laughs at me and I laugh with her. And like, he just went into detail and I was just like, this dude like actually likes her.
He's really thoughtful. I hope he finds someone. Probably like not in Paradise. Although Paradise breeds
Why?
Good. I don't know. I mean, I want him to have fun. Everyone says Paradise is fun.
If he wants to do Paradise, I want him to be able to do it. I don't know if it's really his vibe.
You're right. I'm always just like dubious to Paradise. So I feel like people I really like, it's kind of beneath them. Like I don't want like Demi throwing herself at Rodney. I want him to find someone who he can really vibe with and have fun. And
Joe can absolutely not do Paradise.
Joe Coleman?
Yeah.
I don't know why I needed to like clarify his last name. There's only one Joe here. Why do you say that?
Are you kidding me? It would be overwhelming for him. Every single girl would want to date him.
I know. Okay. He said that he never had a girlfriend to like put up on the ledge at his high school. How is that possible? How did he not have a girlfriend?
He probably a player. I don't know. He doesn't seem like that, but
no. And like, I don't know. I feel like even like high school players will have a girlfriend for like 2 months and then that's a wrap.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he's not counting that.
I don't know. I feel like when you're in high school, you count everything. You're just like, that counts.
Yeah, you count everything. But then when you're older, do you count that? Like when someone asks me how many boyfriends I have, do I count my high school boyfriends? No. Maybe the last one. You know what I mean? But like the guy I dated for like 4 months, no, I'm not including them. Like we held hands in the hallway. I'm not counting them.
You caveat it with like, well, that was my high school boyfriend or whatever. I don't know.
I don't include.
I was surprised by that. I think that in that setting, though, he would have been like my high school girlfriend. He said, I never had a girlfriend. I was just shocked. There was so many surprises in general.
Yeah. My youngest brother never had a girlfriend, so I think it's possible.
Okay. Fair enough. Why? Because he was like so committed to hoops, so
No.
committed to being a player. Like what?
No, neither.
Just shy?
No, he's like the class clown. I don't know why. He started dating his now girlfriend, his only girlfriend, his freshman year of college, and they've been together like 7 years now.
All right, that's great. Love is love.
Definitely getting married. I love her. But
That's
I don't
good.
know why he didn't have a girl. Like he was like very outgoing.
Mhm.
He did play sports, and I guess like I wonder if this happens with siblings a lot. Like the youngest one kind of gets like fucked over because like he was always at our stuff.
Right. Well, I think when you are one of four and you're like the fourth, you're just sort of like, okay, I just got to go along with it
Yeah.
or whatever. You're sort of, or it's the other direction and like you're spoiled because you're the baby.
But I think Joe could just not have had a girlfriend.
There's something about him that I feel like we're missing some major information. That was my main takeaway about Joe. I was like, what do we not know about this guy?
I feel
there
like we
seems
got it.
What?
Like seeing his family, I'm like, this is who Joe is. He's very quiet, reserved. Like now I'm like, I don't even know if he's nervous. This is just who he is.
His sister-in-law, thank God she was there. Otherwise, it would have been like incredibly awkward. She seems like the social lubricant for the whole family. They must have been really happy when she came along.
I have to assume because she talked a lot, right? Like,
Yeah.
definitely the most. His brother probably talks a lot, not in front of people.
Right. He's not like an on-camera guy. His brother seemed really sweet.
Yeah, but he just didn't say much. His dad obviously didn't say much. His mom was really sweet. So they maybe they're all just really awkward in front of the I can imagine it's uncomfortable if you haven't done it before to all of a sudden have like a whole camera crew around you.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I mean, I would be so awkward and uncomfortable. I wouldn't like be able to sit comfortably. I wouldn't know what to wear. Also, none of these people get to be in their own homes. That's actually one thing I was wondering. I was like, where are all these different locations that they went to?
They all were at the same location.
They were?
Like, yeah, they started every single date in front of that same entrance. And they'd be like, okay, are you nervous?
But were all the families in the same like living room?
Oh, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, that like looked different for each one. I was like, where are all these locations? It's so strange.
The hotel or whatever they started at also was strange. I was like, where are they?
The Marquette Hotel,
Yeah.
I guess.
Did you see what it looked like? It looked very
Yeah,
weird.
Also, when she was saying goodbye to Rodney, it actually does look like they're in the same room for all of these dates. I'm scrolling back through. Anyway, when she was saying goodbye to Rodney, there's like really loud trucks going by. And I was like, oh God, that can't be what they wanted.
No, it was like, I was like, is there traffic? What time is it?
Yeah. Yeah, it was like traffic in downtown Minneapolis.
So weird.
That was one of the classiest breakups the show has ever seen. What a great person Michelle is. Just telling Rodney that he's enough and that there's nothing wrong with him. I have to say, if someone was dumping me and they were telling me that I was enough, I would be like, I don't believe you, because if I was, you wouldn't be dumping me. But I did think that she was like so kind, and she's just a graceful person.
I think it worked because they're both that way.
Yeah.
Because he
Yeah.
also was like, I was falling in love with you. It's not going to like go away in a day, but which is like true. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it was good.
Yeah. It takes time to move on from that. I mean, I don't know. Some people get more hung up than others, but I also, the post-credit scene or the credit scene where they're like doing the food show and they're like, Rod and Michelle.
I didn't like it.
Well, I just wish they would show more of that, like actually on the show when they're having fun, like being silly.
I think Michelle looked a little miserable. If I would have seen that, I'd been like, oh, he's going home.
Interesting. So it was like a giveaway.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. We are going to get into superlatives, but first, I think we just need to point out that this is a historic Final Four for men of color with a lead of color, and a lot of different family setups that, like, not all just traditional mom and dad. And notably, of the four men, all of them had white mothers and black fathers. And Nate, it was actually his stepfather who was there, not his biological father, who is still alive because you referenced him. But you know, it's like pretty significant. And we were talking a little bit before we started recording about like, is this meaningful for the show after like kind of the last 2 years of this show and sort of how to kind of take this in. I will say I appreciated that it was not a talking point, that it was just sort of like, these are for families, like, you know.
Yeah.
I do appreciate the fact that they're like, you know, making good on the attempts to change the way this show operates. But I kind of, I guess I'm like, is this a big deal? What did you think?
Obviously, it was noticeable that they were all mixed families. I also have a white mom and a black dad. I also noticed that there were a lot of stepdads that were present. I know Nate said he had a really good relationship with his dad and that he loves his dad. So, liked that he said that. So it wasn't just, you know, all credit given to his stepdad. Loved the relationship a lot of these stepdads have with these guys. I thought that was really cool.
I agree. And also with Nate's family, he mentioned that his mom and his stepdad are divorced now. And he was like really touched they were both coming. And I thought that was a really great point. Like, it just shows like, first of all, we don't know a lot about their relationship. We don't barely know anything about their relationship, but just the fact that like, you know, they wanted to support Nate and doing it together to support him was just like very, very sweet. And families really do look different. You know, no two families are alike. And I thought that this represented that in a really like sweet way. I don't know. I was pleasantly surprised by the way the show handled these different families.
I don't know. I think a lot of the times when people get divorced, it's like it's a really good excuse to peace out.
Mm-hmm.
And he just seems like still so involved. Their conversation was just like
so moving.
It stole the show.
I really like a tough but firm and loving parent. I think it's really a really sweet relationship. I don't know. I liked that that his stepfather was like legitimately like, how do you know this is right? And asking the hard questions, but then also really loving. Like it was very dynamic. And I loved Nate's stepfather. And Nate getting so choked up was just really endearing. And I loved Nate's family. Also, them calling him Nathaniel, such a parent thing to do.
It did make Nate more attractive, that whole scene.
Okay, let's get into our superlatives. Best date for me, hands down, goes to Nate with the paddleboarding. Great date. Callie, we know how you feel about ocean water. How do you feel about lake water? Would you be willing to risk falling in by paddleboarding on Lake Minnetonka?
I grew up on a lake. So, yes, I've been paddleboarding.
Is it the one that had alligators in it that you can't go in?
No, you can go in it. I went in it.
The other lake, that's Pasha's lake. My bad.
Yeah. My lake, or not my lake, the lake that I grew up on. That's where my mom still lives, and we went paddleboarding all the time. There is alligators in it, but it's weird in Florida. Like alligators it's not like a thing. It's okay to swim with alligators, I guess. I don't think there's alligators in Lake Minnetonka, so I feel like I'd be very confident on that lake.
I just love paddleboarding. First of all, it can be as hard or as easy as you want, depending on the water that you choose.
Lake water's way easier than ocean water.
Yeah, way, way, way easier. I mean, like when people like paddleboard in Malibu, I'm just like, how the fuck are you doing that? But then you can just go to like Marina Del Rey and it's super easy. It's like very flat.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different variations. And paddleboarding on a lake is great because you get like the benefit of like the exercise of paddleboarding. And if you fall in, you just get back on. And it's like just so easy. And it's a nice way to like talk to each other too while also doing an activity. Just a great date. Plus, you know, like in bathing suits, kind of sexy. Like it's great.
I think it's great. Great for TV. It wouldn't be my top choice.
Really? I would love to do that with
You know what would be my bottom choice? Is fucking skateboarding. That was horrible.
I think it should be Brandon's bottom choice too, since he sucks at it.
Superlative for worst date was that one.
Skateboarding.
So
oh my God.
Bad.
Do you really think she could possibly pick Brandon after seeing his hometown?
Well, I thought his family was phenomenal.
I loved his brother.
I thought the whole family was so great. His dad's conversation with Michelle was awesome. I think Michelle fell deeper for him because of his family.
Yeah, I
feel like the way they were like so warm and open to her, she was like, oh yeah. And it's probably why Brandon got chosen over Rodney.
Because of the family.
And I liked Rodney's family, but I think Brandon's family was just like shiny.
It was sweet that his brother waited to deploy for his military service to meet her. That was very sweet. He really looked the Portland part of like Like his like rolled up jeans, his glasses. I liked it though. I thought his brother's cute. And I also have very similar glasses, so I support it.
But superlative for best date.
Mm-hmm. What do you pick?
I thought the apple picking was great. They made a little dessert that we saw in the end. Love a dessert. I would have been fine with that date. Also, usually like that orchid goes like, you get some good wine.
Did you say orchid? It's an orchard. Orchard.
Orchard.
An orchid's a beautiful flower.
I know.
Here's what I like about apple picking. Usually there's donuts and like like apple cider donuts. So good. You haven't spent enough time in the Northeast. You don't get it.
No, I mean, I've been apple picking with my dog. That might have been in Portland. I think it was in Portland.
Okay.
Maybe Dallas. I don't know. We went apple picking.
Here are the problems with apple
Didn't
picking.
get donuts though.
Well, you missed out. Here are the problems. Always hot. It's like never actually like comfortable weather. You're like, oh, fall. I'm going to put on a cool down vest and go apple picking. Always fucking hot. I'm like never once been like, oh, cool. This is the perfect temperature for being out in the field in the sun. Number 2, you get way too many apples. What are you supposed to do with all of them? You can't eat them all. And then you're supposed to like, what, make pie? That's too much work. It's a no.
Yeah.
And number 3, you're like out in a field and just like, what if you just get bored? I don't know. I'm just not into it.
Have you done it?
Apple picking?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh no. I mean, you were saying what if? So I was like, have you done it? Did you get bored?
Yeah, I did. I always get bored. It's like better in theory. It's a classic Instagram activity. Looks great in photos.
Yeah.
Not actually worth it.
There is this thing in Dallas. I can't remember what it's called, but it has like a bunch of things you can do, and apple picking is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's something.
Sure. Have you ever done a corn maze?
No.
That's awful. Also,
I'm not really
awful.
like an outdoorsy person, but
Me neither. Not at all. I'm very happy in the city and like inside.
apple picking reminds me of the Real Housewives of New York, though.
Did they do that?
Yeah.
I don't remember. We'll have to do a brief aside for Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip and obviously Selling Sunset. We'll come to that later or perhaps later in the week. Back to the show. All right. My worst date, definitely skateboarding. I mean, just horrible.
Like, if you don't know how to skateboard, it's impossible. And Brandon knew how to skateboard on a scale of 1 to 10 at like maybe a 1.8. And Michelle was at a 0. So like that doesn't work.
I can't believe Brandon chose that. And I have to assume he like at least had a hand in it, even if he definitely wasn't like, oh, I need to do this. But you got Brandon. Just know yourself a little bit better.
I hope that he really was nervous and he's better than that.
I hope so too. I'm sure he was nervous. He's just too young for Michelle. That's my problem with him. I said this last week too.
He does seem young.
Yeah. I liked his mom a lot though. She was probably my favorite mom.
I loved Rodney's mom.
Rodney's mom was really, really sweet. She was the most maternal, I would say.
Yeah.
Seemed like the most nurturing and she was great.
I also didn't dislike any of them.
I know that's the thing is I didn't dislike any of the families in general. Like I thought this was like 4 great families. Joe's family, now we know why he doesn't talk about his feelings. They don't seem to really talk.
Or talk in general.
His chat with his father was quite uncomfortable.
Yeah, it was. That's why I was like, is this real? I have to assume that his dad is like super, super uncomfortable with cameras because like you can just have like a general conversation with your son. Like, how are you doing? What's happened so far? Like, even if you don't want to talk about feelings, you can, say something.
He probably just didn't know like what to do, like what the purpose of being on camera was. Like, I would say Joe's parents seem...
Maybe he just didn't like it at all. Maybe he didn't even want to do it.
Yeah. And I would say Joe's mom, she seemed very sweet, but his parents seemed sort of like had like the least awareness of like what the show is and like what they were supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Like they probably just like, what is this?
Because like they didn't even mention like he's one of 4.
Right. I know. What happened to his other siblings?
No. I meant one of 4 guys left. Does he have other siblings?
No, I'm not sure. I was like, wait, he does. Yeah.
No, I mean, they didn't mention like there's 3 other guys, which every other mom and dad did.
Yeah. Which is obviously understandable. They might not know there's other guys. Who knows?
That's what I'm saying. Like every other parent mentioned it because they know what the situation is. I don't even think his parents get what's happening.
And his mom's conversation with Michelle was just awkward. It was just sort of like There wasn't a lot there. It was like all the other scenes with Joe. Like, seems great, seems good, but there's not a ton there. Although I will say I like him more.
Yeah. This episode, well, first of all, I've liked him more every episode, so this is not a shocker to anyone listening. This episode changed my mind. You asked me earlier, do I still think Brandon wins? And now I'm like, it could be Joe. This is the first episode where I was like, oh, you do like her.
He definitely does. He's so hot. When he was wearing that white button down.
Unreal.
Oh, God, he just looks so good in clothes. You're just like, how is this possible?
Also, his smile is like magnetic. Like, I feel like he smiles and I'm like, oh.
The other thing is he's very natural looking. Like, he doesn't look like he tries that hard. He doesn't look like he doesn't look like he puts a lot of work into whatever he's doing. Like, it just seems so effortless. He's just really fucking hot.
Yeah, there is a difference because obviously guys in general don't try or don't have to like do much.
Mm-hmm.
But like you can tell Nate knows he's attractive and like tries to do things to make himself more attractive. I feel like Joe just like wakes up and is just like, hey guys.
I know.
And just is like
puts on a pair of joggers, a button down shirt. He must have been hot.
I'm sure he knows he's attractive, but like he just doesn't like, it doesn't seem he cares that he's attractive, if that makes sense.
I'm just like, is he secretly a dick? Is he secretly like, what's the deal? I just feel like we're still missing some information.
So. I don't think he's a dick.
I need to hear from women who have dated Joe. What was it like? Like
he hasn't dated anyone.
In high school. You think he never dated anyone ever?
I guess I thought he meant ever, but maybe I'm wrong.
No way ever.
Nate hasn't.
Never anyone seriously. I find that more believable with Nate because he's got way more player's energy. He's got way more like bravado.
Nate is 1,000%
a fuckboy.
I don't know if he still is, but he was in them streets.
Definitely. I feel like he must fucking thrive in Austin because I just.
By the way,
did
a little deep dive on his Instagram and his DMs have to be going fucking crazy right now because the comments on his pictures are all about how good looking he is.
Really? What do they say? Apparently someone, I think, posted on Demois that he was like hitting on someone at a bar. To which I say,
I saw that.
Good for you. I don't know. Unless he's with Michelle, then not good for you. But also he seems like the kind of person who is just really friendly and that like you might think he's hitting on you.
He's definitely a flirt.
When he's just, that's how he is.
Yeah. All the comments are like, you're so fine. You look like Chris Brown. Oh my God, you're so good looking. I'm like, oh, he's probably eating this up right now.
He really is so good looking. Do you think he only has that one orange bathing suit or he wore it again because Michelle likes it?
Maybe he only packed one. I don't know.
I feel like he could have bought another one while he was in. Oh my God. And then on October 10th, he posted himself paddleboarding in Austin in the orange bathing suit. So
maybe it's his face.
It's his look. Wow.
Definitely looks good with his skin.
He's just really hot. And then I loved how his family was calling him Nathaniel. If I were Michelle and I heard that, I would start calling him Nathaniel as well. He only has 91,000 followers. What the fuck?
91,000? How many does Joe have?
He should have way more. I don't even follow Joe. He's so boring. He
really
has 38,000. Whoa.
See?
That's weird.
Do we know if Rodney or Brandon have Instagrams?
There's no way that either of them have more than Joe. Literally no way. Joe needs to change. Yeah. Joe needs to change his.
Let's just say this.
Yes.
Joe is not doing this for his platform because he doesn't have one.
Rodney has 18,000 followers. These are very low numbers. America's so cruel. This is ridiculous. And Brandon has 36. Interesting. Huh. So other people like Brandon. I do not. I'm just not here for Brandon.
You don't dislike him.
No, but I just like, I feel like I would be like his camp counselor and that's it. I don't know. He just has such a young energy to me. I'm just like, what?
Can I just say,
yeah,
camp had a really big impression on you. You mentioned camp a lot.
Callie, you have no idea. It's like, it's embarrassing, but yes, it did have a really big impression. Shout out to Camp Paul Whitman. And I won't apologize for it. You should send your kids to camp. They'll love it.
I was sent to camp and I cried a lot and my parents wouldn't come pick me up and I felt abandoned.
How many weeks did you go for?
19 days.
And then they finally came to get you?
The camp finally let me, because I assume it's like this at every camp. You can't call. Yeah. They let me call home on day 17 because I guess I was like so distraught. And I was like, please come. It's in Texas. It's called Camp Arrowhead. Camp Arrowhead, and I was a Pawnee.
There's got to be so many Camp Arrowheads in this country.
Which is like a little problematic, no?
Yeah, that's it. And they're probably all changing their names. Well, mine was in New Hampshire. I went for 7 weeks for 10 years, and it was great.
7 weeks? There's no way.
Yeah.
On day 17, when I called my parents, I was talking to my mom. I was breaking down. I was like, please come get me. My mom was like, you have another care package coming tomorrow, and I pick you up the next day. And I was like, I want a fucking care package. Come pick me up. I used to have to sneak out of my bunk in the middle of the night to poop because I can't poop in front of people.
No wonder why it was so traumatic for you.
Oh, I hated it so much. I remember I found a fucking bug in my like little bunk. Oh, I hate outdoors.
You don't like bugs?
That didn't help. No, I don't.
I'm okay with bugs. Mice and rats, it's an absolute no. But bugs and snakes, I'm like, it's fine.
I'm okay with never seeing any of those creatures.
Camp is not about the outdoors. At least it wasn't for me. It's about like hanging out, about like gossip, and I don't know, like just friendship. It was the best.
Hated
I love
it.
my camp friends.
All while doing archery and singing songs.
Archery sucks. Archery is like apple picking, always too hot. It sucks. It's always like right in the sun. There's no like
sucks.
No, it doesn't. You just went to a bad camp. Anyway,
it's actually supposedly it's a really good camp. I don't think I would have liked camp anywhere. My younger brother also was forced to go to camp by my parents. He went to a camp in North Carolina for 3 weeks. Same thing. Called my mom to like pick
Blue
him
Mountains.
up. I don't know which one it was. He was
No,
miserable
I'm saying
too.
in the Blue Mountains. Well, I'm sorry for you guys. You didn't have a proper childhood experience like I did, but we can't all be so lucky. So whatever.
Anyways,
Brandon would be my camp cat. I'd be his counselor. That's how we got here.
Brandon is second on the followers list, right?
Third. He's a little behind Joe. Barely. He's at 36 and Joe's at 38.
There's just literally no world that Joe doesn't have 200,000 followers. Like this
it's
is
shocking.
Nuts. It's shocking. But he doesn't post. Like he does. He's not engaged.
He doesn't post, but even so, like you'd think people will just hang around for the future. I don't know. I just think there's something we aren't getting about him. I would like to go to a bar with Joe and have him have like a few beers, and then I'd ask him 1,000 questions and like really find out what we're missing.
I feel like he just does not give a fuck about being like on this franchise.
I guess. I don't know.
He hasn't embraced it at all.
He does seem into Michelle though. Well, that makes me think he doesn't win, by the way, because he hasn't embraced it at all. Because if he had like a better result, then maybe he would like be more into it, more excited.
Oh, I think he might win now, and I still don't think he gives a fuck.
That would be great. I mean, like that's best case scenario.
Like his brother's already married. He seems so excited about like the prospect of like settling down, having kids, and just like being happily ever after.
Yeah, he does. He seems like a nice guy.
Him saying that, I was just like, what? You are not who I think you are.
I know, and he was like really into his sister-in-law. He's like, Hannah's great, which I thought was very sweet.
So nice.
I like that a lot too.
I think it's also like spoke to how much he seems to like actually want to get married.
I think that he seems like he wants a support system. There's just something about him. I'm just like, what happened to you? I know that there's like some, I'm not trying to like make him share his trauma, but I feel like something happened.
No, I think he already did. I think he thought his life was going in one direction and it took a severe turn.
Yeah, it's just really sad. It does suck. What was the biggest revelation? Like the biggest thing that you feel like you learned from this episode?
Easily that Joe likes her. I didn't think he did before.
Just that Joe likes her?
I mean, like, I thought he did not want to get picked, and now I'm like, oh no, he wants to win. That's a big change in stance. I thought Brandon had it in the bag, not anymore.
I thought, I mean, it's crazy that you ever thought that, but he's clearly, no. But I thought the biggest revelation was like seeing Nate's emotional like response to his stepfather and him crying and everything.
Was
and
that
like
a revelation though? I feel like that was just like good. Like I loved watching it. It was awesome.
Like he gave it to the camera.
But I didn't learn anything about Nate.
I don't know. I think it showed that he does have like this sensitive side that he doesn't really play up very much. And he's like usually very fun. I don't know. I thought that was a big one. And I think also that just that he goes by Nathaniel to his family. I don't know. I'm in the bag for Nate. I love him.
Now that I think Joe wants to win, I think Brandon gets eliminated next. And then it's a huge showdown between Nate and Joe, and I have no idea who wins.
It might be the best final two of all time, if that's what it is.
No one knows who wins out of those two, right?
I don't know. Yeah, like how do you pick? They're really different guys. I mean, like one is quiet and, takes a while to sort of warm up, and the other is like brash and I don't know.
All the guys liked Joe, I have to assume he's better off camera.
Yeah. He's probably a fun hang for dudes too. I mean, he's probably comfortable in a group of guys based on his basketball career.
I think your life is more fun with Nate and more stable with Joe, if I'm Michelle.
Yeah, and I feel like that's so frequently like the rom-com choice. Yeah. Do you pick like the safe one or the fun one?
I don't know.
And depending on where you are in your life, I think you make different choices.
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
I think I don't know if I said this out loud, but Nate, on his date, for some reason, I feel like his attractiveness level went from like an 8 to a 9.5.
Is it because he like was stripping when he was taking off his clothes to
I
get
don't
into
know.
the orange
It
bathing
didn't
suit?
seem forced. Like he seemed so relaxed. Nothing seemed like it seemed genuine.
Mm-hmm. I liked that she told him that she was nervous around him. That's why another reason why I think he wins is like I think that he elicits like a response from her that only Nate really does.
Yeah. Their kiss, sometimes you can see that.
The close-up shots of them kissing just are so gross, and I just don't need it. I get it. Can't we just go in the opposite direction? Give me a big sweeping view of them making out in front of a beautiful setting. Like, I just don't need this close-up. I don't want to be involved in their kiss. It's gross.
Yeah, I never need it.
It's so...
I never need the close-up, never need the sound effects.
With Brandon, I find it the worst, but really with all of them. No shade of Brandon. It's all bad. It's all bad.
There's not a version I like. It can be the hottest people in the world. I don't want to see like anyone do that.
Did you have a favorite outfit of Michelle's this week? I thought she had a lot of different looks, and I was impressed.
Her hair bothers me so much, but I think it's because I am also mixed and have curly hair, so I'm extremely judgmental about that specific hair. That's a me problem, not a her problem.
Sure.
I can say that.
I can't tell if the waves that she has, that it looks like she's like used a lot of mousse, if those are her natural waves or if it's styled that way.
I don't know, but it's only on the bottom half. The first like bit of it, she like
it's straight.
Brushes it out. I don't know.
I used to wear my hair like that in college. Sort of like half wavy, sort of.
Well, I couldn't. My hair is just really curly, but I used to get I'm not even kidding. Before I would leave to go out, I would dunk my head in water and make sure it was as flat and as wet as possible.
That sounds uncomfortable for going out.
Not a good look. Not a good look, but back then, like, I feel like a lot of people were, so not just me, but like it was not a thing to have big curly hair. Mm-hmm. So I was like insecure about it.
Sure.
And now it's like trendy, so it's great.
That is great. I think you've got great hair.
Thank you. The only outfit I can think of Michelle wearing is the prom dress. I do think that Nate's outfit for her meeting his parents, them together looked great, but he looked perfect.
He did look really
great
good.
Outfit.
He looked really good. Yeah. He also looked very comfortable. Nate,
it was like a gray black motif that they had going. Yeah. It looked great.
Yeah, his like black jacket. He's like trendy, but not too trendy. It really works. Also, I liked his stepdad's shirt. Felt like everyone was just like really being themselves in this whole setting.
His stepdad had a shiny gold shirt on. I remember that.
Yeah, I liked it.
The only problem I have with Nate is he needs to take off like 2 pieces of jewelry. Okay. I don't care which pieces.
I'm glad you brought this
too
up.
Much.
I was just going to say, I've mentioned this before, but Nate has made me rethink many of my stances on male jewelry because I think he just really rocks it. The necklaces are a little bit much, but his double stud in his nose and his earrings look great. The
double stud in his nose, never seen it.
I know.
It works.
Did he invent this style? Like, did Nate come up with this? How did this happen? Did he go to like one of those places where like they style it for you? Like, it looks awesome. Also, does that hurt to get 2 studs? Or
no?
Is it one thing? Did you ever have a nose ring?
No. I'm not a fan of my nose. I would not bring any like attraction towards it. But I have like a. This sounds bad, but I have a lot of. I've gotten a lot pierced.
Doesn't sound that bad.
And you know, it only hurts for a little bit. You get over it. I feel the same way about tattoos. Like, it's fine. I don't have that many, but
I would say like I was like, I don't know about Nate's tattoos. He just looked so good this week. I was like, it's all working. But he was wearing like several necklaces while talking with his family, and that was kind of a lot. I agree.
2 pieces too many.
How did you feel about his rings?
I'm getting confused with him and Chris Brown. So I'm not sure. Chris Brown might have a double piercing. I don't
think so. I think this is like a Nate original.
I remember Chris Brown. I think it's Chris Brown and not Nate had a double hoop nose piercing, but maybe not. I don't know.
I liked Michelle's. She had several like casual shorts looks. She had very long legs, Michelle. And
how tall is she? 6? No,
I think
5?
she's like 5'8", 5'9".
Oh my gosh!
But you know, on TV,
since I love talking about my height,
she's 5'9".
Could you just imagine if like a 6-foot girl were on this show, like on The Bachelor?
No,
they would look like a 6-foot girl could go after Clayton because he's tall. That girl would look massive.
If I were like a 6-footer among like these 5'2" tiny women, I would feel so uncomfortable. I mean, I'm not as tall as you, but when I am around like very short people, I feel massive. Like I just feel large.
I feel large a lot, but sometimes I like the feeling. It's weird.
Like powerful.
Like sometimes I'm just like, you look like a 12-year-old. You know, some guys are into that like 12-year-old look. No. Some guys are into that 12-year-old. By the way, Brandon's dad said that he was the same height as Michelle, and that was like a little alarming. Some guys like the super, super skinny, tiny, like Polly Pocket types. That's obviously not me. But like whenever I'm around that and I feel enormous, I'm also like in my head, I'm like, all right, well, I mean, like if they want a Polly Pocket, they're not going to like me.
Yeah.
They don't want a Polly Pocket, they're not going to like her.
Right. Yeah, totally. It's not just about like guys though. It's just about like myself, like how I feel in the world. Like, I don't know. Sometimes it's just a weird feeling. I mean, I've met a lot of Bachelor people and they are mostly very
tiny.
Small. Yeah. Like very small.
Maybe because my entire life I've been huge. There's never a setting where I'm not, unless I'm like with all NBA basketball players.
Right.
And somewhere.
Well, what a life. And I don't, by the way, I'm not trying to shame any of these small women. It's just like, it's just how I feel. Which brings me to
I don't think you're shaming, by the way, at all. You make it seem like it's a better life. To be Polly Pocket.
Well, I think it's a different life. Which brings us to the people who visited Michelle, Brie and Serena, who you know are both Polly Pockets. I've met Brie. She's a Polly Pocket. Lovely, lovely gal.
Very, very pretty Polly Pocket.
I loved Brie's style. She looked great. Serena looked really good too. I was just thinking Serena is like fresh off getting engaged to Joe, and I was like
staring at her hands to see if she was wearing a ring, and she was.
Yeah, she had like just gotten engaged. She probably was allowed to wear it like only for this purpose because they knew when it would air. I was happy to see both of them. I know that Michelle and Brie were close. I didn't know about Serena, and I wonder if Serena is actually close with her, or like they just did that because they knew she had like a big storyline on Paradise that people would care about her.
I could see them liking each other.
Yeah, I like Serena. I like Serena more independent of Joe than I do as Joe's girlfriend. And I adore Brie.
Love
She's
Brie.
Great.
Yeah. Brie's
One thing
great.
I really like about Brie, I was catching up with her Instagram. She lists her job, like she has a real job, and she lists it on her profile. I'm like, this is great. Get it, girl.
But I think because I think part of that is because she mentioned she
quit her job.
Lost her job.
She quit
job,
Facebook for Matt James, which I'm sure she regrets. Although maybe not. She's got a job in New York and whatever. She's got a boyfriend. She's thriving. It's fine.
I think she was on like a podcast recently or something where she talked about having a boyfriend.
I'm sure she was.
I'm not sure if she was on Nick's podcast. She was on something.
Callie Curry, number one fan of the Vial Files, never ceases to amaze me.
Every now and then, like I'll search for it. Like I'll be like, oh, I want to listen to that. And then a lot of the times if I can't think of a podcast to listen to, I'm like, let's just throw on Nick.
Just see what he's up to. What's your biggest lingering question after this episode? Like, what do you need to have answered in the next couple of weeks?
Oh, you know what? I thought about this during this episode. Can Brandon and Michelle have sexual chemistry? I'm not sure.
No, that's what I keep saying. Like, it's like a teacher-student relationship. It's gross. They should not have sexual chemistry.
Wait, what's next? They all meet her family?
Next is Fantasy Suites, I believe.
3 people go to Fantasy? Why did I think it was 2? Maybe because Matt did 2?
Yeah, but it's usually 3. And then there's the final 2. Yeah, because remember, Hannah had her 3. Peter and
did Katie only do 2 too?
Well, Katie had everyone leave her. So Michael A left and Greg self-immolated. And then
but she only had 2, right?
Just she had gotten rid of Justin, I think. Yeah. It came down to 3. What happened when she got rid of Justin, I think after Hometowns, and then Michael A left.
She didn't even do she only did 1.
Yes, she only did.
Okay.
Yes, because and then Greg
that's what happened.
Greg self-immolated and then
okay. I was thinking about Fantasy Suites, and it's going to be really hard not to choose Nate after Fantasy Suites. From what we've seen so far, I feel like...
I don't know, but maybe behind closed doors and no cameras, Joe will really, come into his own.
I don't know. Nate looks like...
He's so hot.
He might have it in the bag in the bedroom. He's got the energy.
He's
and
got
the
the swagger.
For sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
The BDE, the Pete Davidson of it all. Watch out for him.
Which,
world.
like, I'm not saying that Brandon and Joe don't have
it's not the
BD,
same. It's not the same swagger. It's
but
very
they
different.
don't have the BDE. You could have the BD without the E. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Of course. I don't know. I mean, if I was going to the Fantasy Suites with Joe and Nate, I'd be quite happy. Like, this is a great outcome for me. Wonderful. And then you'd have to choose, and that would be a bummer. But
yeah,
I think it was confusing because they only showed the teaser for Men Tell All, which I despise. And then
wait, there was no teaser. They showed highlights of the season with like someone talking over.
I know.
I was like, what?
And then they showed a trailer for Clayton's season. And
Clayton season looks good. I'm actually I'm excited.
It looks like it's also, I know they get back to traveling. I think it's like back to basics, both like, in terms of picking a generic white guy and also like traveling again and how they do the show. So it's really back to their roots, but there are ways for the show to continue to improve. I am looking forward to it. I kind of miss The Bachelor. I feel like Matt's season was such a horrible experience for humanity.
It was so dark.
It was awful. And so I'm like, let's just have some fun. And like, while Colton sucks, Colton's season did not suck.
By the way, if Nate goes to Bachelors in Paradise, oh my God.
You'd crush
him
it.
and Joe can't. They
no,
literally
they're too
can't.
hot. They're too hot. They don't need it. They don't need it. It's like Tyler.
Tyler's the other one. I'm trying to think, is there anyone who's been like that hot?
No. Simply put, no.
Like Tyler and Joe to me are like on another level.
Agreed.
Nate is like right under that.
Nate's like on the Thomas level, I would say.
Nate, Thomas, I know it sucks, but like Brendan was, he's very, very, very good looking guy.
I have a hot take. I'm like really happy that Brendan and Piper are still together. You shouldn't go through all that shit and have all these issues and then not end up together. I think it's like, it sucks. Whatever happened. But like, I'm glad they're still together. It would have all been for naught otherwise.
I agree.
They spent Thanksgiving together. That's serious. So I don't know. Sometimes there's going to be drama when you pick someone. And obviously Brendan screwed over Natasha, but at least they're together. I do feel that way.
Also, Natasha's doing great.
I know. She's probably making more money than ever. I hope that brings her some happiness. It's not the only thing in this life, but so very weird to not get coming attractions for Fantasy Suites, but who knows what that means. Rodney, we wish you the best.
Yeah, I hope we see you again, Rod.
I think we will. He's so sweet. Great guy. I'll be back on Thursday with Penny Lane, who has been on the podcast before. She's also the director of a new film called Listening to Kenny G, which is coming out on HBO on Thursday. I've seen it. I have to tell you, it was awesome. Like, I don't care about Kenny G at all. until this movie. And now I've been talking about him like at least every other day. So Penny is a really big fan of The Bachelor. So she'll be here on Thursday. We'll be back next week. And don't forget to also follow the Ringer Reality TV podcast because there's so much other stuff we need to talk about. So
there's so much, like, it's overwhelming content right now.
Girls Trip is wild. Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip.
So good.
It's just like so much shocking stuff happening there. So check us out there. We'll be following up soon. Thanks for listening. Thank you to Devon Manze for producing this episode. And talk to you soon.
Adios.